let's decide where I want to actually start the video. Now I'm not going to show the car blasting away, but I would like to show me pushing this person, and I'm going to do it with static cameras, in other words free cams. I'm going to hit M, and then as I said in the beginning, I'm going to drag this back. Now the clip starts from here. If you ever lose focus on the controls, clicking on the actual marker, it's not a good idea. You can do it, and in this case it doesn't matter because it's at the beginning of the clip, but you can so easily move a clip and destroy a shot. When you're navigating between markers, it's much better to use greater than and less than. I'm going to change this to free, and I'm going to move it approximately where this action takes place. I'm going to put it at about head level, shoulder level. That's good. Now I can see my own character running in this direction, and bang. I'm going to just play this from here.
Everybody wants to touch me. Why?
That looks funny by itself. I do want some movement in the shot though. So what I'll do is start by showing the player, and then I'll put another marker there. I hear the bang right about here. I'm going to hit M, and this time I'm going to try, without going up and down too much, to rotate the camera so that the action's in the center. There's a reason I'm doing this, and I'll show you in just a second. What I actually want to do now is to grab the marker and intentionally move it back a little. Let go. I want to drop this marker right where the bang is. That looks like a little bit forward there. Bang. That's good enough. So just to demonstrate what I've done, I'm going to go to the last marker by hitting less than. You can move between markers, and in this case I want the camera to actually rotate from this scene to the next. So what I do is go movement, linear. There's a difference between linear and blend. I'm going to have to get into it, but for now I'm just going to make it linear, and right away by just hitting the space bar,
Everybody wants to touch me. What?
it does that. What I'd actually like it to do is ease out, which slowly builds up.
Wants to touch me.
And in this case, because the marker is actually no movement, it ends the chain.
Everybody wants to touch me. Why?
Whoa. See, we were within range that whole time of this free cam. That's great. And I'm going to go back, and I'm going to add another one. A little bit more. But not very much. And I'm going to use the back key and say also make that linear. So now there's a chain of 2 that ends on the third. Making this linear has unpredictable results for the rest of the video. So if this is the actual last frame you want to move, you generally should leave this on none. But you can mess with the other functions. In this case, I'm going to put in, so that the clip begins slowly, proceeds smoothly through this portion, hopefully, and in this portion eases to the end and then will stay static. So let's try that.
Everybody wants to touch me. Why?
Not bad. So what I'm going to do now is change this to blend. Now blend claims to, and mostly achieves, a smoother transition between the markers then. In fact, its goal is to smooth the transition, and in many cases easing in and out is not necessary for that reason. But in this case I'm going to leave it on and see what it looks like.
Everybody wants to touch me. Why?
I actually didn't notice that much of a difference. Probably because my ease in and out.
Everybody wants to touch me. Why?
I'm getting sick of that. And you'll get used to that, getting sick of hearing people. I'm going to leave it on blend just because what I would then do to end the chain is to move forward 1 frame by clicking the up arrow and then hitting M again. Now I've dropped a marker that is so close to the last marker that in effect it is the next scene, And so traveling back and forth between these two frames is actually possible. Now, the reason you would want to do this so close to the next frame is in case you want to change this now to target. What I should have done was just click target, but I want to see a little bit closer as to what's going to happen here. Boosh. He's got his gun out. It's so boof. It's like one of those sleeve holsters. Wah. I think I drew blood too. She must be wearing some pretty sharp jewelry. Okay, so now we're at that marker. I'm going to wait until we hear bang, and I'm going to rotate the camera a little bit. That's a little bit bizarre. I usually don't like to show glitches. M. Rotate it a little more. This is akin to stop motion animation. I find that you move, what you're moving is the camera instead of the subject. And that's going to be a nice effect. I'm going to think ahead, go forward one frame, hit M, and change it to something so that it's markedly different. Now I'm going to go back through the sequence I just made. You'll notice that I didn't make any alterations along the way. I find it much easier to just drop the markers and do fine adjustments later. And it's also, for the reason I'm about to show you, easier to put movement, orbit, orbit, orbit by keeping the mouse in the same way. Now I'm going to leave the last one off, as I said before. And I don't know. It goes a little quickly. I'd like to slow it down a bit. Right when he hits her. Right when she hits him. I'm going to drop it to 45. Oh, that looked better. Now, I want from his perspective. So I would change target player to target 0. No. Actually, that's not bad. This person gets to see the whole incident. I'm going to leave it here. Boof. Oh, is this great or what? Crack. Crack. Okay, perfect. M. Now I've dropped another marker. Now what I'm going to do instead is find out, yeah, that's the very frame where her glasses pop off. So what I'm going to do is move this camera by using W to zoom in. Where are her glasses? I don't think they've actually rezzed in the flying through the air phase yet. So I'm going to just drop the camera where it is now and move the slider until there they are, and they go off into that direction and they land on the bench. Is that great or what? So now what I'm going to do is about where they land, drop a marker. Now I'm going to use W to zoom in and look at the glasses. So I zoom forward so I can see the glasses. Now I'm going to zoom up. And what I'm going to do is drag this frame all the way back, right to the end, beginning. Now I've got 3 frames in a row, so I'm going to go back one, and I'm going to delete that frame that I just made. And I'm going to grab this one and drag it to the end. Now you cannot pass one marker past another, so if you're like doing this, you can see that I'm selecting either side. I can move this one this way, but I can't move it past. So what I'll do is drop it right there. It's the very next one. And boom. I can't remember where. That looked about right. No, they're still falling. So I'm going to put these as the camera is now as low as it can go. I'm going to use the up arrow to advance until it strikes the ground, and then I'm going to move the marker until it's right above and the picture changes, and I'm going to drop it right there.